Howdy, all. I am Adam, the Renaissance Nerd. I think it is safe to say that we live in one of the worst eras of creativity. Not you and me. We're plenty creative. We have plenty of ideas. We're the next generation of creativity. We just are having to fight our way to basically being seen. What I'm talking about is, of course, Western entertainment. We are in the worst era of Western entertainment because those who have now reached levels of power and influence are completely and totally creatively bankrupt, which is why this era that we live in is in some ways referred to as the era of reboots and revivals. Constantly going back to pillage what was once successful and is still beloved and cherished by millions upon millions of fans around the world. To me, it sometimes a reboot is necessary if something was not done with either the full scope of the creator, the full intention of the creator. They were not able to put their vision out there as they really saw it. Or there were problems where the studio, the channel, the network were interfering and it became a mishmash wrong. And maybe years later they get that chance to really give the full story where they wanted it and give it just a reshaping. It's the same story, but it's the whole story with the visuals and the characters they fully wanted to tell. That's acceptable. I never have a problem with that if that is the case. But when you are purposefully taking something that had its story told and deciding to reboot it for the sake of rebooting it, maybe out of narcissistic relevancy, well, then I have a problem with it. Last year, a year ago, because this article reminds me it was indeed September, J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of the beloved and cherished Babylon 5, decided to announce he was doing a reboot and that he was involved. Now, here come the automatic stans who will say, oh, if he's involved, blind love for it, no questioning, boom, bang, pow, you will worship this and love it because the creator's involved. It'll be great, doesn't matter. But you hear warning flags. You hear the terms that make each and every one of us shiver in disgust. We're going to update it for modern sensibilities. It needs to be modernized. It needs to be fresh. Take into account the current climate of the world we live in. You hear those words and you are afraid. Especially with something like Babylon 5, which for back in its day was plenty progressive. Told many a story that one would consider not conservative, more little left-leaning, but it was done in a way where it was still a good story, and you understood. There was no message or agenda being bludgeoning the viewer. I like Babylon 5. You want to see my full thoughts on it? Go check out our episode of Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturdays, where Mike and I, at OBG70, go check out his channel, where we broke it down. We covered the entire series as a whole. It was just an overview. Babylon 5, it's on the shelf to be left alone. I've seen it between 10 and 15 times at this point. I never need to see it again. But it's earned its place on the wall of fame, on the shelf of respect. It told its story. It reached its conclusion. Doesn't need to be redone. But JMS decided who he's going to do it again, and he put all those warning flag words that I just mentioned into his announcement. I covered it a year ago. You can search it on the channel. It's there. Well, yesterday he went to Twitter. Babylon 5 reboot will change the show's story for the CW. Last September, it was confirmed that Babylon 5 creator JMS was working on the reboot series set to appear on the CW. Now the creator of both series has confirmed something that diehard fans may not have a great reactions to. The story of the eponymous station is going to be a lot different in the reboot. You don't want to hear that because, again, this reboot shouldn't be happening in the first place. Over the weekend, JMS was particularly busy on Twitter responding to fan questions about the Babylon 5 reboot, as well as other projects. One fan in particular implied there was no real point to a reboot. We all know the secrets of the Shadows and the Vorlons. The B5 creator responded, that's only if we tell the same story the same way. We're not, because what would be the point? We're going to stop there because it just tells you that they're changing when Captain Sheridan comes on, as opposed to everything else when Sinclair was there. Then we get into the sordid history of it. That doesn't matter. This right here, that's not a positive thing, because that's telling us when a fan asks you, why are you doing this? This doesn't need to happen. And your response is, don't worry, we're going to change the story. Don't worry, we're going to change the story that you love. That means a fan who loves the story the way it is, who would not be opposed to perhaps just a reinvention of it in terms of the same story, but maybe streamlined it a little bit, maybe less filler, maybe get to certain things faster, maybe have it be a little bit grander than the technology allowed back in the day, or the story or the network allowed back in the day. But it's the same story with the same characters and the same beats, just maybe a little altered. That would be fine. But to say we're not going to tell the story the same way, because what will be the point? You're disenfranchising the people that have made your IP beloved and cherished in the first place. You're telling them you don't care what they think. At least that's what this comes across to for me. This tells me that JMS only cares about what JMS wants to do. He's not doing this for the fans. He's doing this for himself. Perhaps with an agenda in mind. I don't know. I have been told that his projects after B5 were somewhat agenda driven, were not very good, fell apart narratively, and that and perhaps, again, I have no receipts for it, but he has maybe lost his mind in this current era, which would not be a surprise. He was not a man of the right. He was a man of the left. But back then, he clearly had the understanding of how to tell the story through good characters. If you are intending to alter the story, then why are you doing this in the first place? Why not just make something new? Well, maybe he's out of ideas. In the end, bottom line, I have no faith in this. If it ever does come to fruition, because it's still in production, it hasn't gotten the full green light yet. If it ever does, I will watch it. I will render a verdict. Again, I am a first-generation B5 fan. I watched it from its pilot, its regularly scheduled broadcast episodes back in the day, and then I watched it ad nauseum in syndication on TNT over and over and over again for years, decades even. And a couple of years ago, I did a full rewatch. Yeah, I've seen it enough. I feel like I'm qualified enough to tell you whether or not a new reboot is worth your time. If it comes out, I will watch it and I will tell you. If I can suffer Rings of Power, I can suffer a B5 reboot. But in the end, I have no faith nor excitement for this because the story has been told. And if you're going to change it, well, then you're going to change the things that made it perfect and made it work. JMS, I feel like this is a reach. He just wants to be relevant again. We shall see. But again, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it's going to be good. And I don't want it. And I know a lot of you don't want it either. All right, I'm done. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy this, please hit that like button. It would be very much appreciated. And if you are new here, I invite you to subscribe to me right here on YouTube, where I hope to earn your trust and support using facts and logic, because facts and logic do not care about whiny fifis. Hit the notification button, share my video if you like what I'm preaching, and by all means, leave comments. Love to hear from you guys. You don't have to agree with me. That's just fine. We're normal. We are not whiny stands and SJWs who are 201 cowards behind keyboards, which is why I don't care what they think. But I do hope every video triggers them. Thank you again for watching this video. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me at therentnerd@gmail.com. That email's for channel business only, so I check it on a daily basis. Also, you can find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can find me at Rumble and Odyssey, The Renaissance Nerd. Thank you again. See you next time.